Hi everybody, I am going to give you a little bit of a tour of the Herman Miller Consortium, which is a digital archive that is hosted on the Wayne State University website and is led by the Henry Ford. So this is the main screen. When you come to the website, you'll see that there are links to a lot of different information, including designer information, project documentation, project credits, and consortium members. The consortium is made up of 13 different repositories, and as I mentioned, is led by the Henry Ford. But as you'll see, these repositories are all across the United States, and all of them are contributing to this digital collection. When you look at the project credits, it'll just show you some more information on the sponsors and funding for the project. Project documentation is a really useful area if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the creation of the repository or some of the different metadata standards and decisions that came into the creation of the repository. Designer information, which just gives you a little bit of history about the Herman Miller Company and the different designers who worked for it. You'll also notice that there's some copyright and funding information down here, a link that goes to a mail to so you can ask for help if you're having trouble, and a group of collections. The Herman Miller Consortium is part of the Making of Modern Michigan series at Wayne State University. So there are 3 different collections in there, and if you wanted to search across all 3, you could do that by just clicking on the Making of Modern Michigan. Typing in search terms here will search all 3, and you can pick which ones you do or don't want by hitting the check boxes here. So if we go back to the main page, we are going to do a sample search. So right here is our search box, and it's pretty standard. Anyone who's familiar with searching online collections should be pretty familiar with how this is going to work. We could browse if we just wanted to look through and see if something caught our eye. We could also browse the records, which is basically the metadata information that's contained in this collection. Let's wait 1 second for that to come up. So this is going to show you the metadata records that you could also browse, although I think that would be pretty tricky to do. And then it gives you search tips. So if you need help with Boolean searching or punctuation, any of that, you can just pull up this little window and that'll help you. So we're going to do a really basic search. We're going to search for EAMES, which is one of the designers who worked for Herman Miller. And we don't care where it shows up. It can be anywhere in the record. We're not really looking for anything specific. And we're going to check this box right here. This is going to show only items that have actual digital content associated with them. So if there's a metadata record, but there hasn't been a scan or a photograph to go along with it, then those will not come up in this search. And click search. And here are the results of our records. If you look right here, you'll see that we had 126 hits total. So these are grouped in groups of 20. And if you want to go to the next 20, you can just hit next here or select a number from these little numbers right here that are kind of hard to see. So we could just scroll through by clicking on the next button, and this will show us all of the different items that have come up in our search. And we're going to go back to page 1 and just show a couple different ways that this can be sorted. Right now we have it set for images with captions. So you'll see we have the images here, and underneath them is the caption that gives a little bit of descriptive information about what we're looking at. You can also click here, images with record, and that's going to give you a much fuller caption, which is basically the entire metadata record. It'll also show you a thumbnail of the image. And then we can do captions only, which is similar to that record only search that we showed you from the main screen. If we can get it to come up, there it is. So this is like the browse full record, but instead it's the full record within our search results. So we're going to go back to images with captions, and if we select any image, well, it looks good. This thing's pretty cool. We've got a chest of drawers, and here it is going to show us again that we have a couple of different ways that we can look at it. We can see a full image, which is right here, and it'll give you a couple of different options for sizing. And it will also allow you to zoom in or zoom out between those different sizes. It'll give you a bookmark. It'll give you some information on portfolios, which we'll get to in a second. If we want just the description view, that has the thumbnail and the description that we had it set for default. And there's also other views which will show you if there are any additional pictures associated with this object. So this is the chest of drawers being opened. Go back to other views. This, I think, is the back side of the chest of drawers. So you can see, I guess maybe there's a little bit of a panel missing there. And that'll show you additional images that are associated with it. So if we go back to the description view, now it's set with the last other view that we had selected. If we wanted to go back to the original view, we would just click on that. In here in the record is all the data that's been captured and associated with this record. So you'll see their kind of accession number, object name, date made, designer, etc., etc. Gives you a physical description. It also gives you subject headings, and based on the information that they provided on the homepage, we know that these subject headings are either LCSH as their secondary source or primarily AAT. And as you scroll down, there's a little bit more information. It gives you a product number, which can bring up associated records. This one we didn't get in our search result because it did not have a photograph, but this is for the Action Office 2. And let's go back to this. So that's basically a summary of what you'll see on this page. Now, one of the things that I'm really excited about that we don't have in our imaging project is contact information. And that's something that I hope for the UA project that we've been working on, it can be added in the future. The other thing that I think is really neat, particularly for people who are educators, is the portfolios feature, which you can get to from an individual item, or you can go to by clicking portfolios here. And this is going to show you all the different portfolios that are available through the Herman Miller Consortium. If I wanted to add an item to a portfolio, I could click this button here and add it to my portfolio. Or I could go back to my search results, which I actually think are right here. Let's see if I can go back. Probably a faster way to do this, but that'll get the job done. And I can do these little check boxes that are in the bottom right corner of each thumbnail. And by doing that, I'll click add check to portfolio. I can also check all or uncheck all. So when I add check to portfolio, it will allow me to see all of the different portfolios. If I want to see everyone's portfolios, I will have all public portfolios clicked. If I want just mine, I'm not logged in right now, so it's not actually recording my checked options. But to see an example, we can just choose, this one has 10 images in it for old baseball players. Well, I don't think this actually goes with mine. Let's see, hang on one second. Okay, actually, we're going to use this one. It's a little bit bigger than I wanted to use, but this is the Herman Miller Consortium. This is a digital archive that was made by a session guest. And I will click open. And this will show me the entire portfolio of the selected images in this collection. So if you're using it, you can select whatever images relate to the search that you're interested in, save them to your portfolio, and you'll get a screen similar to this with your custom images. One of the really nice things about this portfolio is not only can you access this saved portfolio online, but you can also download it. And this is where I got really excited, because if we download it as a PowerPoint, it'll take a minute, but what it'll do is pull up all of these images and their descriptions in slide form, which is something that would be really great to use in a classroom or a workshop. I know when I was taking art history courses in college, gosh, not even 10 years ago, we were still using slides. So I'm sure a lot has changed since then, and this would be a really useful feature for anybody who is doing a presentation on this repository. So I am going to pause this for 1 second while it downloads. So now that our PowerPoint has downloaded, we can click here to download this particular PowerPoint, or we can choose another portfolio to incorporate into our presentation. Since we're just interested in the Herman Miller Consortium, we're going to click here to download the PowerPoint file. And it is going to open up in the bottom corner here, because that's how Lamont has his computer set up. And once it's done downloading, we can just click on it to open up the file in PowerPoint and see what it actually looks like. So once we're in PowerPoint, you'll see that each of our items that have been selected for our portfolio is represented in the slides, and they all have a title, a brief description, copyright information, as well as an image. And regardless of what order we put them into our portfolio online, we can just move them around as we would in basic PowerPoint. We can reformat them if that's what we want to do. So if we decide that we want that to be our first slide, we can move it, and we can also edit the title. and we would be all set to go ahead and use this presentation for any educational purposes that we might have. So I hope you enjoyed my tour of the Herman Miller Consortium. I'll have a little bit more information up on my blog if you'd like to learn more, and definitely check it out. It's a great repository, a lot of really beautiful images, and some pretty cool features. Thanks.